All right. Welcome back to Rivals on the Pitch podcast. Thanks again for joining us for a fun-filled episode. We have some great discussion, great talking points, and plenty of games to go over. My name is Pat, your fellow Guna.
Good luck. And I'm Randy, soon to be champion of this league.
Okay. Representing Liverpool, and
of course.
And we also have our best friend Alan, who represents Tottenham. Alan, there you go.
He will make an appearance though, so stay tuned.
So?
I think so. I think he won't let us talk smack about Spurs without him having stuff to say. So I think he will make an appearance.
Okay, I hope he does, because we have a lot to say, and I'm expecting, as you know, I'm expecting a big thank you, sir. And I have some more from him, from Tottenham supporters, and Manchester United supporters, and the team. Big thank you to Arsenal for saving them from relegation. With Arsenal beating Ipswich, now it is mathematically impossible for Tottenham and Manchester United to go down relegated into the championship. So you are very welcome, and I'm expecting a written thank you and a verbal publicized thank you. So we'll wait till he joins.
And speaking of thank you, I might have to thank Alan Spurs, which I never thought I would say if things go well this weekend. But we'll get to that.
We will get to that. But yeah, lots of games here, lots to talk about. We now have officially one more victim of the Premier League relegation, and that is with the loss against
Liverpool.
Sorry, with the loss to Liverpool, 1-0, very thin margins. So you can't say they tried, but unfortunately, their streak goes on of scoreless games for them. Leicester City go down to the championship.
I mean, sad to see, but honestly, out of all these teams that are in the league right now, it just makes sense. Usually the teams that come back up, even if they have been here before and stayed a bit, it was just too much for them. In aging Vardy, a new coach in the season, I think a lot of things just went wrong, and it shows. I think Vardy and his Red Bulls are all tapped out.
Do you think Ruud van Nistelrooy will end up at any other Premier League team, or do you think he'll move to another championship team, or maybe somewhere in Netherlands?
That was what we were discussing, I mean, with Alan before. Maybe that's when you weren't here at the moment, at one of those days, but it was just in the beginning, he was promised, transfers in the winter window, and he didn't get them. So he didn't keep his word. But so we all thought he was going to be out, because I think there were even rumors of him leaving, that he was trying to get out. But for me, I think he might. I think it would look good on his resume, or whatever. If he would to stay and have a good run in the championship. If he gets them promoted, it's even better. But I think that's what you need. You need experience, and why not have experience in a championship, which is a hard league. Don't underestimate it. And if he gets them back up, that's just putting more merits on your resume, and I think that would be a good look for him. I would like for him to stay, but we don't know what was happening with all that drama behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree. I think it would be good for him to stay. However, I feel like maybe the relationship is already tarnished. Maybe he has just already too many bad feelings about staying. So I just don't see him with, very little experience. I know he was obviously a professional player, one of the best ones in the league for Manchester United, but not a ton of managerial experience. So I don't know where else he could end up in the Premier League. So I think it would have to be Championship. And at that point, yeah, like you said, why not just stay with Leicester and see what you can do? Might be not easy, but easier than the Premier League to try to challenge for the top spot and get back into the Premier League. And then you never know if he gets them promoted. Maybe another team comes along and say, "Hey, we could use your services."
Yeah, I agree. I
Um,
think he'll be the like an up and coming coach, maybe the next best thing prospect
I mean, look at
in
Vincent
the
Company.
coaching. Yeah, did nothing with
Vincent,
Burnley, and look at him now
well,
at
got the
Bayern.
promoted, then got relegated, but it showed his strengths. Obviously, they thought that they couldn't do it with Burnley, but and on that note, we have two new promoted teams that will be coming to the Premier League next season, and that it's Leeds United and Burnley FC.
Speaking, nice to see Burnley, and of course Leeds, a historic club, but
Oh
they haven't
yeah,
had this staying power as one expects. But we'll see. I mean, they always play well in the championship, and then when they come up, they just can't seem to carry it over, and then they tend to get relegated the season after or that prior season. But we'll see.
hopefully they can do a little better. But obviously the league has just been improving. We spoke about it a couple episodes ago. How every other team within that mid table, that what used to be mid table, the Premier League has gotten so good. Teams like Brighton, teams like Fulham, Bournemouth. I mean, these are heavy hitters now. Nottingham Forest. I mean, Nottingham Forest is a classic team, but uh, prior to their recent success, they didn't have much of it. So, but there's a lot of heavy hitters now. The Premier League is not an easy league. You got top talent everywhere. I mean, you got even in Wolves, as low as they are, you got people in Wolves playing for their national teams. So lots of talent within this league. And I think Leeds is going to have a tough time coming back up, but they have the history to back it up, so they could do it.
It should be interesting next season.
So so let's dive into some of these games. So we have match day 33 of 38. Not a lot of season left to go. So now it's about it's musical chairs. See where you end up on the table. Everyone's trying to grab that Champions League spots. We got the extra fifth spot. Got some Europa leagues and Conference League. So lots there for everyone to grab. I think first place is the only spot that's basically sealed, and everything else is still available to everyone. So we started off with Brentford playing at home to Brighton, and they beat Brighton 4-2. Brighton with a red card. Definitely a good game there. Lots of goals, 6 goals. We also had West Ham at home. They draw at home to Southampton, 1-1. Southampton get a golden point. What's their current
They're
tally?
tied with 11 with Derby, I believe.
Wow.
Yep. Now let's
So
see if they can actually surpass it, and
they hit
instead of
double
being tied
digits.
for the worst, they can probably escape the record books for a bit.
Yep. Well, they have a couple games to go, 5 to be exact. So, let's see if they can do it. Let's see if they can try it. Not be a bad record, right?
Yeah.
Then we had Everton at home hosting Manchester City, who's currently trying to claw their way back into the top 4 or top 5 in our case this season, and they get a win, 2-0 win. And Tarkowski, I believe he was injured and he's out now for the rest of the season with a hamstring injury. He's been one of Everton's better players this season, so that's a shame. We'll see if they can get him back, before next season. But hamstring injuries, you know how they are.
Yep, they're not the best. Sometimes they're a little tricky, as you can see. Sometimes they get rushed back or complications.
Yeah.
But I mean, think of it right now. He has plenty of time before the season starts next season.
Yep. Might as well just focus on next season and not rush it.
Yeah, they're no in danger for anything right now, so they're fine. So I would say just take the days off and get well.
Yep, exactly. Then we also have Crystal Palace at home with a red card, but they keep the draw 0-0 against Bournemouth, who's currently also still trying to find for a European spot. Bournemouth currently sit at 8th place, so they would be technically getting a European spot. Conference League, that would be. So it's going to be tough, but they can still do it. The gap is separating right above them, though. They're sitting in 8th with 49 points, and 7th place right now is Aston Villa with 57 points. So they're 8 points apart. So I think that's where the big gap is right there. Yeah, it's getting tight. It's getting tight in there. Another contender, Aston Villa, hosting Newcastle, and this was our highlight game of the week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and for good reasons. They were both teams on fire. I mean, Aston Villa did lose in the Champions League, but they put on a performance, and it carried over, as you can see.
Yep. They really did. So they beat Newcastle 4-1. And this was definitely a firecracker game. Goals from Ollie Watkins, Dan Burn, Amadou Onana, who has been one of those signings that we said was going to be a good signing for Aston Villa coming over from Everton, who definitely missing his physicality. Fabian Schär scores at the 18th minute for Newcastle, but that's the only goal they get. Dan Burn with the own goal, obviously, for in Villa's favor, and they end up winning 4-1. And with that, Villa moves into that 7th spot with 8 points in between them and 8th. So they are pretty solid right now that they could definitely get a European spot. But I know that Villa are going to want to get that Champions League now that they are officially out, getting knocked out by PSG. But we'll see what they can do.
I mean, and so far they've looked like they can do a lot. I mean, the performance they did at in the Champions League, you just want to see it again. So you want to see them in those competitions again, going against those top teams again, and seeing if they can make another run. And if they can make that run in the Premier League, oh my God, that's another team to be on the lookout for.
And Unai Emery is a pretty experienced manager. I think that he himself, I think he has the potential to bring in some decent players. So I kind of would be fun to see them in the Champions League again. I think they did pretty well this time around. But I will say, I think if this Aston Villa team gets into the Europa League, I think they have a very good chance to win it. Obviously, Unai Emery has won it multiple times with teams like Malaga and Sevilla. So I think him with Aston Villa in the Europa League, I think they would be favorites.
And let's see what happens. I mean, we have Rashford and Asensio who are on loan, so we can see what happens. Maybe when they have the summer transfer window, maybe they can go for them again, but on permanent basis or another loan. But we'll see what
I could see Rashford definitely doing that, because where else is he going to go? I think he's shown some talent, but I don't think he's up to par anymore to fit into any of the other top 6 teams. So I think Villa would be a good home for him, and I don't see him going back to United after that whole scenario that happened with him and Emery.
Yeah, I think it sucks, your boyhood club, but I think it's time for a change, time for a move, honestly.
Yep. So let's look at our predictions. We had predicted for this game. We'll start with Alan's predictions since he's not here. He had Aston Villa losing 2-3 for Newcastle. So he gets 0 points for the highlight game of the week.
That's the story of his life, I guess.
I know. He's showing his bad judgment there on the mini league at the moment. I had picked a 3-2 win of Aston Villa over Newcastle. So I did get a point for that one. Not the right score though. And then Randy, you had said a draw, Aston Villa 2, Newcastle 2. So you dropped some points there too.
Yeah. You can't win them all, but
I could have seen a draw though. They were playing well. I think Newcastle could have edged them if they were playing at home, but they were not. So that's why I went with Villa. But yeah, so then we also had Ipswich Town hosting Arsenal. Ipswich, the only team still down at the bottom three who has yet to be relegated. There's still potential for others. I know Wolves saved themselves with that win over Manchester United, so Wolves is not in the scenario for being relegated.
But that just leaves one team left, though, and that's West Ham.
And that's West Ham, yeah, who's someone who team we expected to do much better than they have been. Very inconsistent mid-season change for coach. Graham Potter, who had done well with Brighton, not so great with Chelsea, but they took a chance on him. Maybe he thought that he was taking a chance on West Ham, and it seems like it's just not been a good fit.
I mean, so far, but we'll see what he looks like when he has a full window and has the
That's
ability
true.
to do transfers and get his game plan in. Right now, I think he's just plucking those holes up from the sinking ship, and so far he's done well. I mean, he's not relegated, but he's the
That's
only
true.
team that left that can technically still be in relegated. But I don't think that will happen. I think it's Ipswich. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it might be Ipswich, and by the looks of it, Arsenal had come back from the Champions League. Obviously, lots of games played, and which they're able to put four past Ipswich. Ipswich with a red card early in the game for a bad tackle. Sets up on Saka. Man, he looked like his foot was like pointing backwards. It was not a good tackle. Came off early, and it looks like he's in a little bit of discomfort, but he looks like it won't be a missing games type of injury. Maybe sits out the next one, but just want to be careful with there. Obviously, we're still in Champions League. PSG, one of the tougher opponents in the league this year. So hopefully he can play that game, but that was a nasty challenge. I think it was definitely a red card, but luckily we were able to put it away early. 4 goals to the good, two from Trossard, who I'm glad he's firing on all cylinders now. Now that Martinelli's definitely stepped it up, scored against Real Madrid, so it's nice to have that players in a specific position play for their spot. You know what I mean? Always kind of pushing each other, and that definitely gives you top performance from either. But yeah, so I think I did predict a win. Yeah, I said Arsenal 2, Ipswich 1. But I'm glad we kept a clean sheet. So just a point for me on that one. And yeah, so I think now David Raya might be 2 clean sheets away from Golden Glove. So we'll see who that ends up. Who are the other candidates for Golden Glove currently?
That I honestly can't recall. I think maybe a Cell from Forest.
That's right. Yeah, they are very good at keeping the clean sheets, not enough Forest. So yeah, I think it's currently Cells still at first. Then second is David Rea. So Matt Sells from Nottingham Forest has 13 clean sheets at the moment, 33 matches played. David Rea has 12 with 33 matches played. And then in third place, we have Jordan Pickford from Everton with 10 clean
Wow.
sheets. So not far, but not super close. Obviously, with the way Everton have been playing, not sometimes it's surprising to see that stat, but I think it's the fact that they keep conceding, and they're not able to keep their wins when they do score early. I think that's something we talked about. But so then we also had a pretty decent game here. Fulham at home hosting Chelsea, and Chelsea win by 2-1. Never know what Chelsea you're gonna get, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. It must be hard to be a Chelsea fan because, like you said, you don't know what Chelsea team you're gonna get.
Yep. Lots of inconsistencies. I think one of their top scorers this season is Cucurella with 4 goals, and he's playing as a left back, so that says a lot. It's different when you have like your top scorer is Cucurella versus someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who obviously takes free kicks, plays very high up the pitch. You could see it being intentional. You know what I mean? But with the
Yeah,
squad that Chelsea has had, with the options that they have available to them for your left back to be the top scoring player, you could just tell that they're in all sorts of messiness there.
yeah. And speaking of Messi, Cole Palmer is basically like a no-show this year.
Yeah.
starting off high, and now he's basically gone cold, and we don't know where he is. Hopefully, he can get it back up, but you need people like him to step up because when he's on fire, Chelsea's going to be in a good position to win games and be competitive.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think Chelsea needs some sort of leadership on the field. I can see that sometimes from Enzo, but their whole squad is all very young. But you need that kind of um, level headedness, and I think that's what Chelsea are missing right now. Obviously, Reece James is an injury prone player, so he hasn't been able to play a lot of games or play a lot of minutes. So sometimes I feel like they lack a little bit of that maturity. But it is what it is. Not my prob. Yeah,
Exactly. Let them keep doing
um,
what they're doing. It's good for
yep,
us.
it's getting crammed at the top. Don't need any more. Um, and then going to the other side of the table, not the top, we had at the very bottom Manchester United at home, as we had mentioned, they lost to Wolves, and Wolves saved themselves from relegation. So there was a lot of celebrations with 77 goal from Pablo Sarabia. Manchester United with 12 shots, but only two on target. And then Wolves had 4 shots with 2 on target. So you could see the accuracy is definitely a better suited for Wolves. Possession was 60% for United, 40% for Wolves. Typical game, Wolves will try to catch you on the counter, but yeah, Manchester United can't get it together. They win and they say they're back, and then they lose, and then when they lose a couple in a row.
Yeah, but I have to give credit. That free kick was beautiful. I think maybe taking their time with it might have got into Unana's head a little bit
Yeah,
because I mean they did take a while to kick it, but what it was worth it. It was beautiful, and there you go. More injury to Man United, and I'm fine with that. Let them suffer.
so then we had the Leicester game, Leicester City at home. They're the one that gets them buried down and sent back to the championship with Liverpool, and Liverpool getting that one goal. That came in the 76th minute after what looked like the messiest combination of passes in the box, and then Trent Alexander gets it on his foot and kicks it, buries it at the back of the net. What a relief that must have been. I mean, I know that you guys are pretty much settled in, and Liverpool will be they're the eventual champions, but must have been nice to finally get that breather, get that goal, right?
I mean, yeah, the whole game was a little bit it's a little back and forth a little bit. Salah hit the post. We hit the post a couple times. Leicester had a goal, but it was called for a foul on Allison. I think because a little contact on him. So we were able to get that by. But then it was just like, come on, one of these shots got to go in. And then it's maybe ironic or a little bit funny in the that it's Trent Alexander Arnold that comes in clutch and saves it for us. Who was on the bench, who didn't even start this game, and then just the celebration is what I think a lot of people are talking about.
They're reading into it, right?
Yeah, it's just like even I'm getting into it a little bit, but and then even Virgil is giving him a little push, go to the supporters, but it was just like everyone's saying, like, if you're celebrating like that, does it look like you're leaving?
I know,
You
people
wouldn't
are
celebrate
going,
like that. Trying to read the little details, read between the
yeah.
lines. But
Yeah, they're like, "Oh my god, he has 2 nipples. That means 2-year contract extension."
yeah, I was trying to maybe he celebrated like Gerard, back in the day, taking off his shirt, and then hanging the shirt on the corner flag, and then it's like, oh well, that's like, what are you reading? What do you interpret that as? Basically like hanging my hat on the door and see you later, or it's hard to explain, but yeah, I think he's doing the exact same thing as Virgil and Salah. He's not going to speak about his contract because he doesn't want that to be a distraction. But at this point, when 2 out of the 3 already confirmed, all eyes are on you now.
Yep, they're
So
just waiting.
we're waiting to see what's happening. I think today we got to see a little preview of what Connor Bradley can do, and I like Connor Bradley, but at this, and I think even Roy Keane said Liverpool has lost great players, and Liverpool has been fine. So I think we'll be fine regardless if Trent leaves, and if he stays, it'll be great for us. But I think at the end of the day, I think Trent will leave, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Now we got a
You
transfer
think he
window
did
we can
enough?
replace. I honestly, I think he did everything he set out to do in Liverpool. He did what he needed to do,
Yeah.
won all the accolades, the trophies, and he talks about trying to be Ballon d'Or winner, and we'll see what happens. And I think when you go to Real Madrid, that is something that can happen. And he has a greater chance to win another something else. The Liga, Copa del Rey, Champions League, always be competitive in the Champions League. Why not? And his best friend, Jude Bellingham, is in there as well. So, thank
Yeah.
you for everything you've done. I think he has the right to go off into the sunset. He's still young. He's still 25. So I always think like he could do his thing in Real Madrid, and he always can come back and finish it
Okay.
off in Liverpool or whatever he wants to do and stay in Real Madrid. But I think he's give everything he did. He's given us everything, and he has the right to make a decision on what's best for him.
And I did see that you tied down Virgil van Dijk and Salah. I'm sure you're
Yeah, two
happy about
years.
that. I feel like Liverpool had to rush to get that done because there were some rumors that Real Madrid, obviously Carlo Ancelotti, has. There's been some rumors stating that he will not continue on Real Madrid. One of the spots I think he's being rumored with is the Brazilian national team. And they'd like to get him before the World Cup. And some the rumor to overtake his place at Real
Oh
Madrid. Some people are
yeah,
saying Jurgen Klopp. So I feel like, hey, if Jurgen Klopp ends up at Real Madrid, he could probably pull Salah or pull Van Dijk. So I feel like Liverpool had to like hurry up and get those
yeah.
signatures
I
down.
mean, I don't think he would have, but I think he would have gone for Trent. I think he would have pulled for Trent, but no, I'm happy with what we have. Virgil is a leader in the back. He hasn't declined. Salah, he's been putting up numbers. So I think 2-year contract is fine, especially for these two who have given everything. They're leaders on the pitch, in the locker room, and they've shown it on the field. I think it's well deserved, and I'm happy for those. Those were two important ones, and I'm happy with it. And I'm looking forward to see what it's going to look like in the summer window with Arne Slot making his full transfer, making the team look like how he wants it to be in his image. And we'll see. I'm excited though.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, big players in the Premier League. Mohamed Salah getting some record breaking stats in the Premier League, and Van Dijk obviously being one of the biggest figures in this Liverpool era of silverware. FA Cups, Community Shields, Champions League, Premier Leagues,
The
now two
works, yeah.
Premier Leagues. So big name there. I'm sure it'd be nice to have him another couple of years in the league to keep this league, what it is, one of the best in the world, and why we enjoy it so much, even when it's not our teams playing. So yeah, I'm happy about it too. Glad they could stay around because I obviously didn't see them go into any other Premier League team. So
Yeah, they always
um,
said that Liverpool was always their decision, and I'm just happy it worked out that way.
yep. So another team who might have to lose a couple players now that their manager is in question for next season, and that is Tottenham. Tottenham at home hosting Nottingham Forest, and they lose 2-1. Goals in Forest scored very, very early on. First goal was 5 minutes in, and then the second one was like 6 minutes in, which was called by VAR, called back by VAR. Sorry, and then Chris Woods nets another one anyway, makes it two. Tottenham get an 87th minute consolation goal, but nothing else after that. 22 shots by Tottenham, 6 on target to Nottingham Forest 3, and all 3 were on target. So again, it's the accuracy of the shots that matter sometimes more than how many shots you get. Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
70% possession for Tottenham, 30 for Nottingham Forest. Once again, it's just the quality sometimes is a little better. They were able to get it done. Forest, a team obviously that's done plenty better than Tottenham this season, but this is the 18th loss for Ange Postecoglou, and their next game is Liverpool. Do you think Tottenham might end up with 20 losses this season? 20 out of 38, so it would be more than half of the games lost.
First off, I want to say that Nottingham Forest, that's their game. They are one of the teams that have the less possession in all of this league. Like, I think they have like around 30, but that's their game plan, to let other teams have possession, and they go on the counterattack, as you can see, which is why they're in third place, I believe, right now at the moment. But
yep.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think Tottenham are going to get as many they're going to add more to their loss total. They're going to lose to Liverpool, and then they're going to lose again. I just think it's not going to stop. I don't think they're going to go on a run and have, win the remaining games they have. I think the team are like demoralized. They're fed up. They're just, like Alan said, they're focused on the Europa League. But I just think at this point they're happy that they're safe from relegation, and they just want this nightmare season to end.
Yeah, for sure. Ange's definitely on the way out. I've read a lot around the social medias, and I saw that most Spurs supporters don't want Ange, even if he does win the Europa League, which is a big trophy. I mean, it's a second tier, but second tier to the Champions League. It's still European success, European silverware. And with Arsenal being their biggest rival, Arsenal don't have the Europa League trophy, so I think it would be a huge trophy. But they still believe that even if he does win it, they don't want him to stay next season. I think they're just not buying and it's funny, they're not buying into the style that they were so hung-go about when he first came on. All of a sudden it flipped only because of results. So it's kind of strange to me how things ended up playing out for them, but I think rightfully so. I mean, this is where you can tell the difference between the clubs like Arsenal and clubs like Tottenham, and where they are at the moment. Obviously, no major silverware for Arsenal within the time that Arteta has been manager. With the FA Cup, I mean, I would count the FA Cup as a silverware, some sort of success, but it's not the big ones, right?
The same thing. Yeah, I agree with you.
But you could tell the difference between both teams haven't received any silverware, but there's a difference in where the teams are. One team's challenging, the other one team's not. So I don't blame Alan for not wanting Ange to stick around any longer. Football might have been nice, but obviously the results have to at some point,
And they will. You're just perfect. Alan's here. What I say. Now I can get to the question I was wanting to ask.
So we were talking about Europa winners 2025.
Is
that where we were?
You gotta beat
without a head coach soon. But we're talking about Ange. Ange, he's reading a lot. You saw how his demeanor was in the beginning. He was all hyped up, all happy, and now he's basically, I feel like he's paranoid. He's talking
just looks down at the floor.
He doesn't want to answer these questions. He's fed up with the same questions. He's rumored that he wants to leave, and he's blaming it because there's a leak in the organization he keeps hearing the same reports about these injuries. Is he like paranoid? Is he nervous? Or is he just trying to deflect the blame off of him? What's your thoughts on him? Or he's just it's Ange.
Yeah, when he first came on, everybody kind of looked at this guy and was like, "Oh, he's he has such a good personality, and he's so he has this humorous interviews, and everybody fell in love with this guy. But like you said, you slowly started seeing him kind of change. I think a lot of it has to do with poor results. I mean, you're going to see frustration in the locker room. You're going to see frustration with the management because I think he was always kind of undermined and was told that he wasn't ready for this league. And it's just a bad season overall. So I think it's a lot of stuff compiling. And I mean, it would beat anybody up. But I mean, it's the Tottenham effect, like is this what happens?
Yeah. So, what was your prediction for this game? Nottingham Forest away to Tottenham at Tottenham Stadium, and what gave you the hope
you were
to
so
feel
confident.
like you could turn it around? Yeah.
Honestly,
So I want to know.
Did you guys already talk about the game?
No, we talked about the shots. Forrest had 3 shots with 3 on target. You had like 22 with like 3 on target,
and we had a majority of the possession and everything like that. But
I mean, I think a lot of that was with Forest. They went through 3 in the back. At one point they had like 8 people in the box, so they were parking the bus as soon as halftime started. So that's why we have that high possession. Those 2 early goals I want to say they were keeper errors when Vicario kind of committed on that Chris Wood header. He completely missed the ball with the first goal.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
It was just terrible goalkeeping, and that kind of just put Forrest in a position to just park the bus. And I think they wanted so much to get Champions League, and I don't blame them. I mean, they're going to secure. They want to secure Champions League position in how many years? So when they parked the bus, they parked the bus like they dug that bus into the ground and made sure it wasn't going anywhere.
They took the tires off.
Yeah, I think one of the defenders is like 6'4", and he was sitting there just. And so that's how we got a lot of possession. It was more toward the tail end of the game where we tried to get one in, and it didn't help that we kind of played a soft. I want to say a bad lineup. We had the good players in there. Kulusevski, I think I'm glad we have him in there because I think he needed to knock some rust off. But honestly, seeing Matistel and Orderber on the wings, it was very refreshing. I know this.
I was going to say,
point,
they almost had it. They almost had a goal, but it was a goal line clearance.
Yeah,
that almost had it.
Yeah, that was a great clearance, man. But
and it was like 3 of them. But
and I was going to say, Tell looks like he's like one of the only players that really wants to win every single game.
Yeah, and it's
he comes from Bayern Munich. That's the mentality there. They're used to winning.
I think he's also fresher legs, But yeah, you're right. Like it's this new energy, and this is why a lot of people outside the club, when they hear Tottenham fans talk about Son and like, oh, you're turning your back on Heung-min Son, like he's your best player, he's your legend there, like he is. But you gotta also realize that people age,
Yeah, like a Vardy.
His strengths aren't fully there. So seeing Mateus Tell and Orderber in there, the 2 wingers that are attacking one-on-one, dribblers. Johnson doesn't really do that. He's kind of more of that. I know where I need to be to put myself in a position to score, but I'm not going to take on a defender. I'm not going to take on that wing back or the center back. But these 2 guys do it. And watching this game, I'm at this point where we're like, okay, we're 16th. We might just finish. That's where we might just finish at the end of the season. And I've come to terms with that. So watching this game, I think I saw it more in a positive because that's all I have right now,
Yeah.
That's all I have in life.
You're positive for the next season.
Yeah. But there's some stuff that I took from this game. I'm like, okay, we can't compete. Because then I think some of these in this game, maybe not last week, but this week, we kind of showed that we were better than Forest for a little bit. It wasn't like they just completely dominated us. Yeah, they got 2 on us early, but we didn't back down. And I really hope we don't take it easy on Liverpool next week. I hope that we're not trying to play it safe and have our players ready for Boba Baggins FC. I really hope that we play some a decent squad where you're getting time in, you're getting familiarity with your players like Mateus, Tell, and Oderbert, like having them on the wings. Maybe if they were to click a little bit better, maybe if Pedro and Udogie or Spence, those fullback wingbacks playing with those wingers, like kind of create that cohesion. So I don't want to see like Richarlison and Reguilon, these players that are just there to fill a spot. I hope we go into this Liverpool game trying to win, and that builds momentum, for the Europa match.
Yeah, we'll see. And we'll get to that game for sure. But first, I am waiting for a thank you because Arsenal saved Tottenham from relegation this season. So,
is that why you're late? You're writing your speech, right?
Yeah,
thinking what to say.
Oh, I thought. Are you waiting for me to say thank you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
You were still in relegation.
See, when we beat Ipswich, you were like, "Why? We had it in the bag," and then you go in and lose to Forest. So I get to believe maybe you didn't have it in the bag.
We do. There's still games left. We still got to play Liverpool. 3 points.
Okay.
Clip
it.
Villa,
Clip it.
3 points.
Oh, remember, Alan?
Banana.
I think if you were to have picked Spurs to lose every game, you probably would have been in the lead in the mini league.
Yeah. That would have been 18 points. Even if you don't get the score right, that would have been 18 points. And that would have put you at the very top with us.
And then plus whatever the highlight game of the week was, you would have had a good chance.
No,
I didn't even. We should just play you and me next season.
I would be
I don't
judged.
think Alan's gonna.
I would be judged. Who would I be?
So I think next season we should post a highlight game on our Instagram for all our followers and then have them vote. And then they vote, they can play with us. So it'd be four people in the mini league.
And have like
so it's like
the audience.
The grand total.
Yeah.
Like okay, yeah, makes it interesting.
Maybe they can choose.
We're innovating. We're trying to expand.
Maybe they can choose which one of us they want to side with on our predictions, and then whoever gets right, they get to share the points that week.
Well, it's gonna be me.
If they want to feel depressed,
the voice you want to hear at night. Hello.
All right.
El vacilón de la mañana. Donde la mega se pega con el vacilón de la mañana.
All right. So let's move on to match day 34. There are 5 games left. Plenty of season left.
Is
5 games
or is it
left.
4 games?
Nah, there's 5. No, because it's 34, 35, 36, 37, 38.
38
Oh, yeah,
games.
okay.
Come on. Gonna have to edit that out, and we're gonna look stupid. All right. So match day 34 out of 38. Not many games to go. We did have to make our predictions for the highlight game of the week prior to this episode. Our highlight game of the week for this match day was Manchester City at home hosting Aston Villa, which was today on Tuesday. Manchester City ended up beating Villa 2-1. Last minute goal. Great effort by Doku. And then Manchester City get the win, and they pulled themselves a little bit closer to the top 4 spots. They are now sitting in 3rd. So they are within the top 4 spots with 61 points. Nottingham Forest is right behind them with 60, sitting at 4th. Newcastle sitting in 5th with 59. So only 2 points separating 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Second, Arsenal with 6 points. So they got 5 points, a little bit bigger gap there. Villa lose, and then Villa fall to 7th place. They still got, I think they could finish 7th or they're buffed because they got a pretty big gap.
We're catching up.
But decent game. Are City back?
Yeah, I mean, what they haven't lost in the last 5.
Yeah. And
they've beaten some good opponents.
They're currently
they drew to
sitting.
Man City.
They do have a game extra played as Aston Villa, so Nottingham Forest could take over. They could be sitting with 63 points in 3rd place, so they're still be in 4th place regardless of what happens. But Newcastle could take over as well if they play their game. So they're sitting in third right now, but that could change by the end of this match week, which extends all the way until Thursday. Yeah, good. We'll see what they do next season. I think they're going to be contenders again.
Yeah.
Well, depends what happens. We keep forgetting there's these 115 charges that we have to get to.
Nothing's gonna happen. We already know.
We'll see what happens. If Everton can get deducted 10 points for what on stupid things, we'll see. And there's still plenty to go with.
Just because they couldn't afford the same lawyers that Man City got.
We'll see. They got Saudi money. They got oil money. But, well, I mean, there's still that's something that still has to be taken into consideration. Maybe that's why Kevin De Bruyne wants out. But we'll see.
Well, he's being aged out, I think, because now I think even Bernardo Silva is leaving.
Yeah.
And I think we expected him to leave sooner. If you guys remember, Pep really wanted to get
go to Barcelona, I believe.
Yeah, it might be a little too late for that, but I think Man City wanted to get Paqueta from West Ham, and then there was all those allegations that he had with the betting, which obviously you can't do as a Premier League player. You can't bet on Premier League games. So there was that whole scenario that Man City ended up dropping their interest for him, but I think
you can do that in Saudi,
to be. Yeah, but they were looking to, I think, replace Bernardo Silva with that kind of like creative midfielder. So yeah, Bernardo Silva will probably be on his way out. Gundogan, I could probably see him leave. So they'll have a rebuild on their hands. Kovacic, who knows?
And I believe even John Stones maybe, I think was maybe rumored as well.
Yeah. Last week, we kind of tried to predict where Kevin De Bruyne was going to head. What's your take?
What's your three teams? I heard Chicago Fire. So USA is definitely always a possibility.
Yeah.
We say USA over Saudi.
Yeah, I think so too. But you know what? It's funny because I heard two slightly contradicting information quotes from one where he said that he'd like to remain and play at the highest level. So that to me means that he could end up, I don't know, maybe like Italy or Spain or France or something like that.
So I think Germany is the Bundesliga is what
he's to go back to where he had his
Dartmouth
his start.
And another one was that he was still keen on going to. He considered interest to the Middle East and US. So yeah, you never know. So kind of contradicting statements there, but I could see the US being a spot for him. But if he wants to continue, I could see him, like you said, going back to Germany, maybe Wolfsburg, or who knows, PSG.
Yeah. Or go to Belgium, go back to his boyhood club. We'll see.
True.
But we got to wait and see.
All right. So we did make predictions for the games this week. So we had Arsenal tomorrow at 3 p.m. hosting Crystal Palace. And I don't remember what I said. I think I said 3-0?
3-0. That's what you
3-0. So I think we could do it. Palace obviously struggling right now at the second half of the season. So Arsenal just put 4 past Ipswich, which I know Ipswich is down the bottom of the table, but I think now that we're back in the Golden Glove race, we could get some sort of something to give at least David Ray. I think we're going to try to do that.
You guys are getting like a whole week's worth of time off before facing PSG, huh?
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh. Wow.
I mean, these were scheduled how long ago?
No.
I'm not changing anything. It's probably because they didn't even think that we would be playing Champions League right now.
And the thing, too, is you have that lead in second place. So you can afford to have, play the C squad, play some youth. You can afford to lose a game or two. You'll still be safe, and so you'll be able to save your players for that PSG game coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be super hard. So I could see us resting a couple players, but I think we would still play all of them, maybe rotate, giving them smaller minutes. But so I think 3-0. I think we can do it. I think we'll be motivated. But yeah, then we also have Chelsea at home hosting Everton. I'm going to go Chelsea on that one.
Everton. No, they had Everton
Draw.
just got an injury, so
Yeah, Tarkowski.
Yeah. I say draw. Depends
Draw.
what Chelsea shows up. But
Yep.
I think it's a draw.
Then Saturday, April 26th, we also have Wolves at home hosting Leicester City. Wolves now safe from relegation. Leicester City relegated officially.
They'll just keep pushing that hammer in, pushing that nail. They're going to add a couple more goals, and they're going to torment Leicester City a little bit more.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to go Wolves.
yeah, it's still April, so they're keeping the streak going.
All right. Then we have Newcastle at home hosting Ipswich. Newcastle got to be right.
Yeah.
Really? You don't think this is Ipswich trying to stay in? Because
That's true. But Newcastle.
Newcastle surprised me in those last
St.
games.
James Park,
Yeah.
but I think they're too much.
I think
so.
Newcastle, yeah.
So is it sayonara?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Salute.
Or unless you want to take their spot.
Nah. We're safe.
Don't worry. Yeah, Arsenal got you. Don't worry.
Yeah, we can lose a few
You
games.
hate
We're safe.
Then we have Brighton at home hosting West Ham. West Ham, who's still not safe from relegation. The last team to not be safe.
Well, Brighton is going to be a rude awakening for Potter.
You
Right.
think so?
Yeah. Brighton.
Brighton's been not doing so hot lately.
But what about West Ham?
And I think they just got a red card. I think John Pedro got a red card. I'm pretty sure he's out for this game.
Yeah, but you have other players.
They can still
you have
do it.
Mitoma. You have more quality. You still have quality there. That
They
you'll
can
be
still
able
do
to-
it.
I think this might be a little bit of an upset. I think not that I want to see West Ham relegated, but I would like to see the battle still going on.
How sure of it
for
are
us
you?
for us that are safe up here,
You're welcome. I'm going to go Brighton too.
Yeah.
So
All right,
all that
then we
talk just to pick Brighton. God damn it, Alan.
Actually, no, I'll go West Ham. Let's go
Okay.
West Ham.
All right, then we have Southampton at home Saturday, April 26th against Fulham. Did Southampton get more points or no?
No,
They
they're
got a
staying
draw.
at 11.
No.
They're staying at
Yeah.
11.
Oh,
Fulham's going to
okay.
win it.
All right. All right, and then we have Bournemouth at home hosting Manchester United. Bournemouth obviously still trying to get into a European spot. Manchester United trying to keep a respectable point tally, but they haven't been able to put any sort of couple string of games together. So Bournemouth.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to save the Sunday game for a minute. We're just going to jump a week ahead to May 1st. We have Nottingham Forest at home hosting Brentford.
Forest. At
Forest.
home. Yep.
I'm going to say Brentford.
Okay. And
I'm a
Boma.
hater. Yeah.
And Wisa.
And we
All right. I'm going to go Forest too. All right. And then Sunday, April 27th. Drum roll. There you go. We have Liverpool at home hosting Tottenham Hotspur. And this game means a lot. So we got two numbers. Does Tottenham get their 19th loss, giving Liverpool their 20th league title? Or does Tottenham delay Liverpool in getting that champions crown?
It doesn't mean like there's much for us anyways.
So
We're going to talk regardless.
I'm surprised you guys didn't make this the highlight game of the week.
It's going to be. It's going to be because it's going to be an upset of the week.
Oh, clip it.
Right?
Clip it.
So,
Oh, I can't wait for next week's episode when Pat's going to have all lined up.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
what'd Alan say? What was your prediction for this upset you so-called think is going to happen?
Was it a 2-1? 2-1 Tottenham victory over the Liverpools when they come. That's their name when they see us.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll see.
And feels can be shaky.
Ooh, are you gonna retire Trent? Trent?
Yep.
Oh,
He's not gonna know what hit him. Van Dijk's gonna be like, "Wow, I just signed a 2-year contract with this stupid club," and then Mo Salah's like, "You know what? I'm out of here."
Wow.
Oh, I think that sounds more like Ange says, "I'm out of here."
Hey,
And
him
Romero.
too.
And
Don't worry,
Romero.
he'll be out there as well. Hey, Romero can go.
Oh, really? From the beginning of the podcast, Romero, one of the top 3 best center backs in the Premier League.
Yeah. Yeah, but if he doesn't want to be on the team, the team is bigger than the player. Like, if you're in a lot of it's taken out of context, but just go. If you want to go, go.
Go.
We're gonna win champion titles without you.
Well, there was something I wanted to bring up in the regarding this game. What would you rather? Predicament. Would you rather be the team that gives a title to your rival, like this game per se? If Spurs were to lose, it would be solidified Liverpool win. Would you want to be that team, or would you rather be the ones giving the guard of honor?
This team.
You rather be the team that loses?
Yeah, because you're playing to you lose a battle, but when you're doing the
Guard of honor.
the guard of honor, you're kind of just sitting there being like the dog and pony show for them. Nah,
I'd rather be the guard of honor.
really?
Yeah,
because you're the team that basically handed it to us or them.
I didn't hand it to you. The rest of the league did it too, not just me.
But this was the game.
You're just the last one, and then
see, yeah, I think the complete opposite, because I think if you're giving a guard of honor, you're just congratulating them on winning. Because
man, I don't want to do that.
As an Arsenal fan, like I said, there's been like a lot of like Liverpool fans, throwing shade at Arsenal because they're like, but like the thing is, like, congratulations. Like, I have nothing bad to say. I mean, we had an unfortunate season.
That's a backhanded compliment. Right there.
No. I'm just saying we had an unfortunate season, so I wish the title was closer. I wish there was a little bit more rivalry, but unfortunately, we're doing the best that we can, and I'm very proud of ending up in a Champions League spot with everything that happened. So whatever happened to us, what I'm saying is whatever happened to us has nothing to do with Liverpool. So I would congratulate them, but I don't want to be the person that if we lose, you win the title, like you win it in my face. Like, I don't want to be that team. You know what I mean? I don't want you to win it in my face.
They'll get their trophy out that game. So that'll be the only time that Spurs will have a trophy in Tottenham. In the White Hart Lane. That'll be the only time they'll have a trophy. But I think that would be the worst because they're rubbing it in your face. They got their trophy.
No, I don't want to sit there.
I don't
want to sit there and have I'd rather just fight to the death. That's all it is.
I think you're basically dead. Your whole team. Look at the position.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't, like, if let's say we were second, third, fourth, fifth, or something like that, where we were fighting for something in the league, then maybe. But we're so far down and we're so beat up. It's just we're just rolling with the punches at this point.
It's just not saying like this season,
scenario.
Just in general.
Right.
Just in general.
No, and even in general, I think I'd rather just be the team to fight. I don't know. To me, just sitting there and I don't know. There's just something. It looks like I guess because of me, I know, being in the military, we did, we were like the ceremony people. You sit there and you're kind of like the
choir boys.
What is it? Exactly. You're the choir boys. You're just there. You don't
want to be a prop in their celebrations.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I feel I get what you're saying. I still feel the other way. I'd rather not be the team to like give them the title. You know what I mean? Because you're giving one, you're just congratulating them, and the other one, you're giving it to them if you lose. Now, if you're saying, do I rather play the game that gives them the title or give the guard of honor? I'd rather play it because I feel like Arsenal, like we could beat them and delay it. You know what I mean? So I'd rather play the game. If it's not guaranteed that we would lose, I would rather play it. than do the Guard of Honor and take my chance.
See? But who says they're going to win? Who says this is a guaranteed win? Tell me. Who says this is a guaranteed win?
That's very true. Well, the 18th losses on your streak this season.
Yeah.
That's what.
And your predictions of Spurs winning have been spot on, Alan.
It says 18, not 19 yet. So,
I mean, again.
And Liverpool's probably going to be resting their players for that. Oh no, not Champions League for the.
I mean,
no,
Tottenham have more losses than West Ham.
Tottenham has lost more time this season with Ange than with Pochettino in his 3 years there. He lost 17 times.
Look,
he lost 17 times. Pochettino. Ange has lost.
And then we're still in the
season.
semifinal, and we're still in the semifinal. So.
Yeah, but Pochettino, you were in the final of the Champions League.
Okay, I don't have a time machine. Yeah. I can't press fast forward. We're gonna get there.
Fast forward to the end of this season.
I'll give you the would you rather again, Alan. And I know we talked about this before. How bad do you want the Europa League?
At this point, real bad.
Okay, so would you take it if you winning Tottenham winning the Europa League means that Arsenal get the Champions League? Do you still take it? No way. No way.
Because you basically get one up regardless. You win the trophy, but he's like, yeah, but guess what? I won Champions League. In
exactly. And then they're going to win it before we do, and then that's going to be their. Well, we won it first. So no, I want to win the Champions League first. Whatever happens after that happens, but
okay. But it should be interesting. So, did we do predictions for this game? Liverpool.
Alan said 2-1 for his mighty Spurs.
Hey, you said
I believe I said 3-1 for Liverpool. And it's I gotta make sure I go and buy champagne and get all the necessary equipment because I'm gonna be livid. And Alan's I'm gonna get you tissues so you can cry.
I'm gonna be watching this game.
Why would I be
crying? As soon as Liverpool win, I'm turning it off.
There you go. Pat even said it.
Honestly,
Liverpool's gonna win.
Honestly, I think even if we lose, right?
Yeah.
And Liverpool win, I think it's gonna hurt Pat more than it's gonna hurt me.
I mean, I like I said, I have no ill feelings.
No, not towards Liverpool, but it's like another season, you know? Because in the beginning of the season, you were pretty confident and. You had the right to be, right? Because you're like,
I think so. Yeah,
Ivan, I agreed that Arsenal was going to be. Oh, no, I did say they were going to be in second place, but I thought it was going to be a little more competitive. Then you have to understand when people think second place, like second place, he was really close. But you have to look at the table, see the points. When you look at it, it's not really that close. But
no, I think
what they did. Yeah, I think hats off to Arteta and Arsenal for. Staying up here with what they had to deal with.
I think what we've done.
Asterisk season.
I think. But listen, I want to see how many points Liverpool ended with last season. Because listen, if we hadn't had like a disastrous season with red cards and injuries, I think we could have given Liverpool a better title. I think we could. The title would still be alive right now with 5 games to go. But obviously, like we had to deal with a lot of things, and at this point, I would be losing my mind if we were anywhere closer to the title and in the Champions League semifinals because we wouldn't be able to rotate the teams the way we are right now. So I would be like, which one? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
can't go for both.
And that would be
maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah,
you never know.
Or you, so if. Not trying to talk trash, but if you come out empty-handed this season and we win the Europa,
I will kill myself.
Do we have a better season?
That's
is Arsenal going to sign Ange?
Listen, yeah. I listen. I think we might have to revisit that question, because that is a fantastic question, and who knows? I mean.
That brings up the point of like Man United with when they were horrible, but they won the FA Cup. That's
I wouldn't say that they had a better season because as far as Arsenal have gotten in the Champions League, I think it is a tougher competition. But as far as being a more successful season, if Tottenham were to win it, I think they would have had a more successful season, 100% factual.
And it goes back to it's like Randy said, that conversation we had with Eric Ten Hag and United and the trophies they won versus the seasons they were having, and like you can't really always count silverware as a way to as the how you measure a season's success or not, because it tells a whole different story when you look at the numbers and versus when you look at the actual silverware. But
and speaking of, I heard Ten Hag is available if Ange decides to leave at the end of the season.
They'll both be available for whoever wants them.
I heard also that Ten Hag, because we were speaking earlier with Randy, that Carlo Ancelotti will probably not continue on with Real Madrid. And some rumors saying that Jurgen Klopp maybe go Real Madrid, but obviously he just started this job with Red Bull organization.
And he said it was a false rumor.
But I heard that Ten Hag offers his services to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid said they weren't home.
New number, who this? No hablo inglés.
But yeah, we'll see. I do miss Ten Hag, and I miss that character. And I think when Ange leaves, I'm going to feel the same way. I'm going to feel like we're missing.
Who's going to be the character then?
We're going to miss a personality. You know what I mean? Obviously, I think Pep is a personality. Klopp was a personality. Unfortunately, Slot isn't too much. I don't think he shows off that much. Arteta's, I think, is a personality too. I think he's got his liners. His one-liners.
He can go.
You hate him because we're going to win everything.
He's doing a good job so far. Trust the process.
Yep. Getting there.
We've been talking about Ange leaving, and obviously his job's on the line. There's supporters, Tottenham supporters are still on his side. The majority are kind of like, well, let's see what you do versus the rest of the season, and some are like, get out. For you, this is going to be possibly, there's still a chance, but the likelihood is Liverpool take it, Arsenal take second, or third or whatever, second. Where do you draw the line? Or you don't see that horizon yet?
I definitely don't see it.
How long is that leash that Arteta has?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to win something, and I thought maybe this had to be it, but honestly, it's hard to say right now because we don't know how far. Like, what if we do get to a final, we lose it? I would feel like that would be a terrible feeling. But obviously, we have to get through the semis first, which is probably going to be the hardest game that we've had to play so far, even though we have already played PSG in the Champions League, and we did beat them. It was very early on in the season. So if he gets to the final, we lose it. Do we really blame him? You know what I mean? It could depend on the game. He could make a mistake. He could sub somebody out too early, or could wait too long to make a sub. You know what I mean? In a 0-0 game or something like that. But at the end of the day, like, he is a young manager, and we took a chance on him. First manager job, because he was an assistant to Pep before that. So we took a chance on it, and I think it's working out better than any other scenario we could have had. I mean, look how good Aston Villa have been doing with Unai Emery, and he was the Arsenal manager before Arteta, and he couldn't turn that team around. Arteta was the only person that could. I think he's done a fantastic job. I think he's doing better than Arsene Wenger was in the last years he was at Arsenal. So I don't see who else would come to Arsenal to do a better job. That's where I am at right now. So that's why I feel
because you're not looking, or is it just because you're focused on Arteta at the moment?
I think he had a project in mind, and the project is paying off. Obviously, we only have had an FA Cup to our name for that, but the squad has evolved immensely. You know what I mean? The players that we have, and the players that now are, getting a traction. Where we're starting to pull
this transfer window?
Heavy hitters. That's what I'm saying. So I think this transfer window is going to make or break it to me. So I think you go out and get a big name, get your striker, get whatever else you need to fill, and the next season it has to be it. After that, that's where things are in question.
So you want to see a striker signed first. You want to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of what I was going to lead into. I was going to say, like, how long that leash is. So this year doesn't matter the results. You're still confident in the project and him. But
Yeah.
if these exact results are next year, where you're, let's say you go to a finals in the Champions League, and let's say next year you make it far to the Champions League, you still don't make it, and you still don't make it in the league. Are you now asking questions, or are you still kind of
Yeah.
confident? Because
Absolutely.
it's always
I think.
important, because I feel like we
Yeah.
kind of got into this mindset where you need instant results, but when you're slowly progressing and improving year in year, you're kind of like, okay, I see the fruit of the labor of all this, what's going on. But there is a point where you're like, okay, we're just plateaued, and what is it now that we can't accomplish to hit the next level? So you're saying this year's fine, and it's true, but next year you think that's
I think next year there has to be something. Yeah.
questions
Because
are asked?
I would have said this year, but obviously things happen and we ended up in a better position. I think that then I would expect us, if you told me at the beginning of the season all the injuries that we would have suffered, I would have been like, I'd be happy if we get top four. You know what I mean? Because I would have been overachieving in a way. But sometimes it gets that kind of mentality gets fogged because we are so close to first. That because we fall short of it, that people think that we failed because we didn't win it.
And
But,
also looking
yeah.
at the fact that Arnie Slot his first year and he's already won it. So like, look at this guy. He just comes in and he
Yeah.
wins it compared to someone who's been here longer
I mean,
and is still a work in progress. I know it can somewhat confuse someone, make them realize
Yeah.
or see a different point of view, but it's just like you can't compare the same thing in a way. But people see that and like,
I
damn it,
think
Arteta, that should have been us.
exactly, but and that's the thing. I think if we had a healthier squad throughout the season, I think we could have given this Liverpool team a fight, like a real fight to the very end. The fact that it's still not sealed with 5 games to go, like, goes to show how well we did in the league considering all those things. I mean, we talk about like Spurs having basically the worst injury crisis in the league, and look at where they are. And now we talk about things, Manchester United and all the players that they signed that aren't performing, and look at where they are. And then for Arteta to be able to do both of those things, right? Deal with the injuries, and bring in the players that he had to bring in. Mikel Merino, people were like not impressed by him at the beginning of the season, and now he's scoring in the Champions League against Real Madrid. You know what I mean? So I think it ends up being like that thing where, like you said, Randy, I think we could have given you a closer title race, but that doesn't take away from what Slot did. But he's also an experienced manager. He's been in the game and managing for a long time already, and he came into a squad that was basically title contenders already for the past couple of years. I mean, Van Dijk, Salah, like those players have been performing now for multiple seasons.
The one thing I have to say about Arteta is this season, now he knows what it looks like if you were to have another injury crisis, if you were to have your star players out for a significant amount of time. And you even mentioned you guys did lack depth. I think this is a summer. If he doesn't do anything about that this summer,
Yeah.
I think
Then there has to be accountable, I think.
Yeah. This is sort of like his saving grace. He knows now, damn it, I do need someone, another midfielder, just in case Odegaard's out. I do need someone to replace Saka when he's out, because you couldn't trust Martinelli and Trossard. At that stage, you need, like as we already mentioned, a striker, because Havertz hasn't been able to do it, and Jesus as well. But that's an eye-opening thing, and if he doesn't learn from these mistakes into next season and takes it into next season, that's when like you just mentioned, he has to be held accountable.
Yeah, I agree. So for Tottenham, obviously Slot winning the league now, I think he's settled for next year. He'll start twinkling different players in. How about for Tottenham? Like, are you looking to grab a Premier League manager to go into the next season, or are you going to look elsewhere? You think? Obviously, Marco Silva, I know, has been a big one.
Marco Silva, Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank, Brentford, yeah. Not Nuno, right? Nuno Espirito Santo.
No, even just watching how they
Revenge?
played.
No?
Nah, like Nuno, I
Redemption?
respect Nuno. I think Nuno is like, especially seeing after the Conte.
What about Mourinho?
Disaster.
We'll look at what he's doing in Turkey.
That's Turkey. I honestly, if they have a good plan for manager, then let's roll it out, regardless of what the season turns out to be. But part of me, there's a little twinkle part of me says, what if this was just an injury issue and there is something special about the type of football that could be played?
So give him that Eric Ten Hag treatment. Give him till December, basically.
If he wins anything, and if these last few games are good, but that's like a very small percentage of me, because I think in order for him to be successful in his style of football, like we have to have, it's like Pep, you have to have the top of the top, the cream of the crop, like you have to have the best players of each position in their positions, and at that point it's like your talent plus somewhat of his coaching and managing, like then, you have a great formula, but it's just, I wish there's more tactics to our game plan. Sometimes you watch the games and you're like, wow, we're just being left right open. Or like sometimes the players don't know what they're doing. And I'm sure they do know, but you look at it and you're like, you're not formulating anything. And so I would like to see a new manager. If it's someone they're just going to randomly grab, like, hey, we're running an option to go to plan A, B, or plan C, D, or E, then that's where I could be like, you know what, maybe let's just give it another year. But
so like if it was like, Ruud van Nistelrooy or Ange, again, you would go Ange?
I think so. It's so hard. And I hate being in this position because, it's
what
all
about
those
like a Jurgen
what ifs are
Klinsmann?
Becoming reality.
I think Jurgen Klinsmann would be cool. He was an ex-Spurs, and I think he did have success with the U.S. national team. But I think he is in charge of the South Korea national team. Yeah, but I mean that's just options. People can tend to leave, but I think
because they talk about
throwing names out there.
What's this guy? The guy from Nagel from Germany. He's
Nigelsmann. Nigelsmann, right?
The young guy, the skateboarder, Nagelsmann or something like that.
Yeah. I can't pronounce his name. But
how about Vincent Kompany?
Nah, I think. No.
What if he brings Harry Kane back?
Who?
Oh, he stopped. He's thinking about it.
Who? Who's that?
About it. Harry Kane.
Oh wow!
Oh, the cup winner.
What about Klopp?
Or sorry, the dish winner. Oh.
He's smart enough to know.
Now
you'd be a Klopp fan.
I was telling Randy, what if David Moyes came up and coached Tottenham? What would he do?
Oh, Jersey.
Yeah,
he wouldn't.
It'd be too. Oh, you see, he's already getting defensive.
What if you get Sean Dyche?
Yeah,
no.
Big Sam.
I think Marco Silva. I don't know if I want Marco Silva. Thomas Frank, I'm iffy. Give me Ariella, sure, I'll take him.
That's going to be a big target.
Would you take another Serie A coach? Because it works so well with under Conte, just the Serie A coach.
Remember Sarri from Chelsea?
I don't know.
All right.
You got to start thinking about what coach you want, man.
I wouldn't have mind. Ruben Emery. Emery, yeah. I feel like I really enjoyed his, I didn't watch much Sporting. I only watched it because he was, being targeted by them.
Yeah.
But I feel like but seeing how, I don't know at this point if it's United, that's the issue, or it's him, but I like him as a coach.
I think United is just making certain coaches look horrible. Because we were, what's it called? looking at Ruben as well, but then I don't know. I think there's something around it that we didn't like, and I think you can probably see that's why what it is based on how it is at Man United. But I think we might have dodged a bullet on that one.
Or even Oliver Glasner from Crystal.
Oh,
All right.
Because
Interesting games.
he played really well when he was in Frankfurt, and I think he was a good
Yeah.
signing for them. But
See, what if they fire
I'm trying
Ange
to
before
think
the
of
final of the
the-
Europa League?
I'll be so pissed.
And they make Son assistant or what is it called?
Ryan Mason?
Interim?
Ryan
Yeah.
Mason, yeah, back that'd be his
Again.
third stint, right?
Hey,
Shoot,
what
might as
about
well-
that guy? What was his name? He was coaching a team in the French league, Ligue 1.
What, the one who hasn't gotten his
Yeah,
certificate and
he
he
didn't have
kept
a
getting
certification.
fined?
So he was getting fined per game, but he was like,
I think for like Nantes or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard
yeah.
about that.
He's an ex-player.
No, he was just some. He was an expert. I thought he was just some guy who did Football Manager and then just translated
Oh,
it.
yeah, I actually think you're right, yeah.
into
Is it? Oh,
into the real team, and he's actually successful with them. And the
Yeah.
club's like, hey, we'll pay your fine as long as you keep doing this.
yeah, he kept winning.
No, because we'll be. That would just make us even more of a joke.
Why not?
How
You're
about-
already a joke.
Hey, how about Gary Neville?
No.
Too many good ones.
What would you do if Thierry Henry became our manager?
No, he even said it. He has so much. He talks so much shit about
Yeah,
Spurs.
he hates Tottenham. Nah.
Okay.
He'll be like, no, because I'll make them win.
That's a good impression.
Pat would like it. Pat would like it if they were gonna go against Arsenal. He'd make them lose.
Pretend I'm Kate and you're Henry.
Wait.
Now do your impression.
Kate Abdu or Kate Scott? Oh.
Abdu.
Can you do the cheek thing? Whatever.
Oh, yeah, the smile frown thing.
Yeah, that's small.
When is it? Week 38.
You should be worried about this week.
Listen, you have the chance to extend this so you don't have to keep worrying about all these match days. Just beat Liverpool.
Good luck.
You gotta beat them, right?
Yep.
Flip it.
Oh man, I can't wait.
I can.
The group chat is gonna be bumping.
Fire.
And that's an episode, guys. Thank you for joining us on Rivals on the Pitch podcast. Make sure to follow us on Spotify, Instagram. Check out our content. Thanks, Alan, for joining us. Better later than never.
Yep.
I'm Randy.
I'm Pat.
And I'm Alan.
Come join us next week when Liverpool win the title. Thanks, Spurs.
Nope.
Koi.
Gooders.
Bye.
See you. Bye.